Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the shop. I'm Mike from Lucid AutoWorks, and in this video I'm going to take this old drill press and I'm going to seriously level up its metal drilling capabilities for use in my production shop.
I picked up this drill press off Facebook Marketplace for what I thought was a pretty good deal for the size and for the overall condition. It ended up needing a little work, so if you're only interested on how I modified this drill, use the timestamp to get to where I do the actual conversion. It's a 20-inch Packard precision drill press. It's 3/4 horsepower, 16 speed, which is awesome because they're usually 12 speed. It's dated 1982, so I was just a little 4-year-old when this chunk of metal was built. Aside from a few forum posts where people are asking about this brand of drill press and some expired auction listings, I can't find out much other than the obvious fact that it's Taiwanese. I did notice a few small issues that I need to fix.
So the switches are bypassed, and that's not really a big issue. I did test it as I was buying it, and it does work. There's normally 2 switches right here with a plate, one for a light, one for a motor. It's all bypassed. The light socket's seen better days, but I did notice that that's pushed in right there. That's the opposite side of where the lever is. The lever is for, you can see there's 2 rods. The rods connect to the motor plate, and you pull on the lever and that pushes the motor back to put tension on the belts. The little mechanism inside is just all kind of floating around and not where it should be, so I just got to get in there and tighten that. So the only way that I'm going to be able to tighten that hex nut down there is with the motor removed, because the pin, there's no way to get a wrench down in there. Like, you can get a wrench, but you can't really turn it. There's not a good enough angle. So I'm going to have to remove the motor to get that pin loose and slide the pin all the way forward so that I can get a socket on an extension down there and tighten that.
Now, I already have a few drill presses in my shop, and the reason I need another one is because I'm set up for production work. Setting up an operation takes time, but you can also lose some accuracy by taking apart a setup to do a different operation just to switch it back again, so that's why I have certain tools set up for certain jobs. Currently, I have a 20-inch central machinery drill press drilling 11/16 holes in square tube for my tire changer center guide, and my Bridgeport does nothing but notch tubing. If all goes well, this Packard drill press will take the place of my central machinery drill press so that it can switch over to notching square tube and free up my milling machine that's been used as a glorified drill press for way too long. Aligning the tensioning lever definitely took a little bit of finesse. The mechanism needs to be pushed towards the front of the machine in order to get to the head of the bolt, but that puts the pin outside of the groove.
So the pin is too close to the rod.
It took a couple of tries to get the pin distance set to right where I wanted it.
So I'll go down a little bit. Okay, so now it's a little, it's hard to see even with a light. Let me get another light. I can go up about 1/16 of an inch.
Luckily, I'm a hoarder, tool collector, so I do have another import drill press that I pulled out of a scrap pile like 12 years ago. See, I told my wife that it would come in handy one day. I borrowed the switches and a few little extra parts that I was missing.
I have the motor back on and I want to align the pulleys with each other, and I'm noticing that the motor is tilted back. And if you look at the base plate, it's thick there and it's thin there. And from everything I can tell, this is the original motor. They both say Packard Precision on them. But I would imagine that this has been a problem for a while. If you look at the belt's shredded. I found pieces of belt up there. So that's definitely going to be an issue. And as of right now, it's zeroed out there. And I'm over 2 degrees off. So let's get this thing spaced out with some washers and get the motor to sit vertical and see how it runs. That's about as far as I feel like going with this. It's way better than it was. So I'm at zeroed out right there. I'm at under 1/2 degree with 2 washers, none on the top. Can't put 3, it's gonna be too much. And then this way, I'm at also under 1/2 degree as far as this goes. So let's put a belt on and see how it runs. I do want this to be really tight since I'm going to be cutting metal with it. Let's see if I can... there we go. Perfect. This idler pulley looks like it's sitting low. I did notice, I wonder if that's why the motor is tilted, because the idler pulley is gonna slant backwards. That'll chew up a belt. I wonder if I can, okay, so it might be that way for a reason. I got a little curious about that motor plate, and I pulled out this other motor from a different Taiwanese drill press, and you could see it's got the same thing going on. It's wider there, and it's thinner there. So I can only assume that's to compensate for the slack in the idler pulley and kind of equal it out. I don't really like that. I think it's set up good with the washers, so I'm going to leave the washers in, and if I have any issues, I'll take them out. So the speed should be at its slowest setting when I turn this on. Top one is the motor. All right, that's not bad. I got it all running, and I was doing a little bit of testing just with the regular drill, and I noticed that even on not such a heavy cut, the drill was stopping. So I thought maybe the belt is slipping. Popped open the top, and I noticed that the pulley was moving. So I loosened this up just to kind of exaggerate the issue. I'm turning the chuck and the pulley is not moving. So this is common on drill presses. Go ahead and check your nut up here. Up top, this is a left-hand thread nut. It was completely loose. So I'll tighten that up. That'll fix the issue. So now let's get to the meat and potatoes of this project. The chuck is where the rubber meets the road, and while this chuck drills just fine, I need something that can drill a little faster without having to step up from a smaller bit to a larger bit. So I'm going to replace this, and to replace it, first we're going to start by removing this chuck. If you drop the spindle down, you can see the slot in there, and you just want to line up. So I'm using the top pulley. You just want to line up so you can see the back of where the arbor comes through. And what I'm going to take is, this is a number 3 drift. If you look on the front of your machine or somewhere on the side, there's usually a tag or part of the tag that says, this one says spindle MT number 2, JT number 3. That means this is a Morse taper number 2. So you use that information for buying your replacement arbors and for buying your drift. So the drift has a curved side on one side and a flat side on the other. So you want to match up the curved side with the top of that curve. Just release some tension. Hold on to the chuck. Take a hammer. Simple as that. So now let's slide that out. And what we're going to replace it with is an annular cutter holder. This is a Morse taper 2 with a 3/4 Weldon shank. So it goes in the same way. You want to line up. The tang needs to line up with the slot and the spindle. Can't go in sideways. Needs to be like that. Or, like that. So we're going to put it in and just take a block of wood or a brass hammer. You can even bang it up there with the palm of your hand.
Be a man.
And then just tap it in place. Now, the tang isn't what drives this. It's the taper is what does the driving. The tang is just for easily helping you get it in and out. And then we're going to take an annular cutter. And these are great at drilling very precise holes without having the need to step up from, say, a 1/4 inch to, I believe this is 11/16. You could bore right through with an 11/16, but then, you're pretty much having to sharpen pretty often. And this is the second one I've used in a couple thousand holes. So they work great. And there's also an adapter you can get. So if you don't feel like taking this chuck and removing that, if you just got one quick hole to drill, you could buy a little adapter that's got its own little chuck. You'll lose some rigidity because you're dropping everything down so much farther, but in a pinch, quick hole, it's fine. One of the reasons that I went with this drill press in particular, other than the price and the availability, is because it has these actual T-slots cast into the table. I have a few other tables around, they just have openings. I really like the way this one can accept, I'm going to put a vise on it. I want a real T-nut slot. So let's get the vise set up. I have this, I'm not sure if it's got no markings on it. It's either an authentic vintage pomegranate or it's a copy. Judging by the age and the fact that I got it in an estate sale with a lot of other old tools, I think there's a good chance that it is an actual pomegranate vise. Am I saying that right? It's not palm green, it's pomegranate. Gren, I believe. So I did have to modify these T-nuts, shave them down a little bit. They were bottoming out on the vise. And the hardware is another thing I got from an auction. So keep your eye out. Auctions, estate sales, estatesale.net, bidspotter.com. If you're in the Northeast, BidSpotter is really good. If you're down south like me, BidSpotter really isn't that great. This is the exact dimension material. Normally it's going to be wider than this. I just want to get the height and about center. And kind of like with the drill size, accuracy is not super important. The hole just needs to be there. It doesn't even need to be exactly in the center. So you might want to worry about this and I might want to worry about it in other cases, but for what I got to do here, it's not super critical. That looks about right. And I made sure to actually have wrenches that fit
because I know all the guys that like to use the word spanner love to comment about using an adjustable wrench, when sometimes that's what you got and what you got to use. It's not the end of the world. This is actually great. Offset box wrench. That's perfect. Alright, so it was kind of a pain in the ass to get an adjustable wrench in there, because I did it before. That's tight.
Tight like a tiger.
Alright, I mean, let me go right into it. I'm going to run this dry. I usually don't use fluid. I've honestly drilled thousands of holes in this 1/8 inch material, and this is my second bit in a couple years that I've gone through. So let's give it a try and see what happens. See if it jumps around, see if it drills a clean hole. See what it does. Absolutely perfect. And you heard it eject the slug at the end. That's what that noise was. It's hot. I could, holy, wow. I knew it was going to be hot, but there's the slug that came out of it. I'll have the pattern burnt into my fingertips. That was perfect. Perfect drilled hole. Clean edges, no real burrs, just like my big drill did it. Sweet. All right, this thing's ready to go. Overall, I'm extremely happy with the way this turned out. It drilled an absolutely perfect hole for me. All I need is a clearance hole for a nut that gets welded over top, but I need a lot of them and I need them fast, and this thing's great for production work. It's also going to free up my milling machine, which is an added bonus. So if you like this video, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe for a lot more shop content just like this. Keep grinding away on those projects, stay lucid, and I'll see you in the next one.